You try and get distance from people's tragedies, but the death of Beefy, it just shot home to all of us how permanent murder is.
This is a special edition of the Officer Down Memorial Podcast.
Walking eastbound. Officer down. I repeat, officer down.
Hey everyone, coming up we're going to talk about fallen officer Robert Beefy Lawson from the Itasca County Sheriff's Office. If you recognize the name, that's because he was episode number 4 in the podcast in 2020. We're going to talk about his story, about his sacrifice, and what his agency is doing now, over 40 years later, to keep his legacy alive and well in this northern Minnesota community.
This episode of the Officer Down Memorial Podcast is sponsored in part by Law Enforcement Labor Services in Minnesota.
Law Enforcement Labor Services, also known as LELS, is Minnesota's largest public safety labor union, with over 7,000 Minnesota public safety members serving in all areas of public safety. Law enforcement, 911 dispatch centers, corrections, public safety administrative support personnel, and firefighters. Established in 1977, LELS serves over 260 different public safety agencies and over 450 locals across the state of Minnesota. With their administration, general counsel, 3 staff attorneys, and 14 business agents, LELS provides contract negotiations for better wages and benefits, grievance processing and representation, discipline representation, mediation and arbitration, assistance with representation for post-board hearings, and in-line of duty death benefits for survivor families. Find out more about Law Enforcement Labor Services at LELS.org. LELS.org.
Episodes of the Officer Down Memorial Podcast may contain strong language and violent content. Listener discretion is advised.
In one of our most downloaded episodes of the podcast, episode 4, we went back to 1981 and shared the story of Deputy Robert Beefy Lawson from the Itasca County Sheriff's Office in northern Minnesota. In that episode, family and several fellow officers helped tell his story.
He's the most unbelievable man I've ever met. I can tell you. I mean, we were really close, and we were like partners since the time I started. He helped train me in, and we were working on the case together in Penguilly at that time.
Robert Beefy Lawson was well-known and well-loved in Itasca County. Having grown up there in the Iron Range, Beefy was an incredibly tough and aggressive athlete in many sports, but his passion was in hockey, and he continued to play and coach as an adult.
When he seen a kid, it was like a magnet. Most of the time, the underdog, when there was any kid that kind of was set off to the side or not really part of, we'll say, the peers that they were with and whatnot, he would be right there and encourage them. And then he would also encourage us as a family, the kids. You want to be there for the ones who were unfortunate, even the kids that were fortunate. He was there to lead them and help them and direct them and terrific. He was really great at being a mentor and a role model for them.
There are a few stories of how he earned the nickname Beefy. Now, one version tells about how raw beefsteaks were used to treat bumps and bruises on his face after scuffles playing hockey. Beefy's older brother Ken, who was 98 years old when we talked to him in 2026, said Robert got the nickname because of his toughness.
Actually, his nickname wasn't really Beefy when he got it. His nickname was Beefsteak. And the reason they called him Beefsteak is because he was tough. You know, back in the 30s and especially in the 40s when everything went to the war, you know. If you got a chunk of beefsteak, it took you all day long to chew it. And that's why they called him Beefsteak. The kids on the skating rink and that, you know, the sports. He was, at his age, he was by far the best athlete in college at his age. So they called him Beefsteak, and then, of course, it was shortened to Beefy.
Retired Itasca County Sheriff Pat Maduri worked with Beefy as a deputy.
You know, Beefy was a mentor for me. Worked a couple of cases together as a young deputy. Gave me some guidance. Not being directly involved in the investigation, as I said, I was on a peripheral. I sat at a point during the standoff and that. Beefy was a guy that he had a great way about himself, and he solved a lot of crime. He always had the belief, and something he shared with me, Pat, you want respect, you treat people with respect. No matter how bad of a person they are, you still treat them respectfully, and they'll respect you back. And he always saw the good in somebody. And he dedicated a lot of his time to youth, troubled youth. He always tried to get them on the right side.
It was October 29th, 1981. Deputy Lawson was off duty when he was contacted by a mother asking him for his help to retrieve her kids from her ex-husband's parents' place in a small town in the county called Pengilly. Beefy knew the ex of this woman all too well, having dealt with him and his criminal behavior for years in this close-knit community. Knowing firsthand how dangerous this guy was, he asked one of his fellow deputies to go with him to go get these kids.
We were working on that case, and we had the warrants out for him, so we were always cautious of what he was going to do and that he was dangerous. And hence the call. Beefy had received a call that the morning of his death. He had received, at least what he told me, he said he got a call. They said that somebody that was kind of out of control had to see a psychologist there and was on the loose, but his name was Audie Fox. And that's why Beefy called me. He called me in the morning and said, pick me up. He wanted to get the kids to make sure the kids were safe somewhere. And he just, he knew he was dangerous and just wanted to get out of there. So he called me. I couldn't go. He went up to the house to get the kids, and then he walked in, and Audie was already there.
Beefy called into dispatch. He put himself on duty, and then he left home to go to the residence to go get the kids, even though his wife didn't want him to go.
He got the call, the setup call from Audie's aunt, who he held to gunpoint. He got the call to have Pam and him be there. And then my mom said, well, there was something about a doctor appointment down in Duluth. And my mom just had a gut feeling. And she said, Beefy, I just feel something's wrong. She told him, she goes, I just don't feel right about this. I think there's something seriously wrong. And I don't want you to go. And he did anyway, because he was very strong-willed and very brave.
After Beefy entered the home to retrieve the two children, the suspect emerged from behind a door where he had been hiding and threatened Beefy with a revolver. The suspect ordered him to the floor and demanded to know the phone number of his estranged wife. Beefy kept explaining that he didn't have her number, that he would have to get it from the office. The suspect warned Beefy that he would count to 3 and he would shoot him if Beefy didn't tell him her number. The suspect counted down 3, 2, 1, and then he pulled the trigger, shooting Beefy in the back of the head, killing him instantly. The neighbors would eventually call the sheriff, and law enforcement would respond from all over the area. That's when the standoff began. The Lawson family would soon be contacted and advised that Beefy had been shot, that the incident was ongoing, and they were given no more information about his condition. The Lawson family would eventually gather together, and they'd wait to hear Beefy's condition. All they knew was he was shot, and he was still in the suspect's house. And they'd wait for hours.
My mother ran to the church in Coleraine. She went there and she said, I feel my husband's been killed. She said because she felt that he left her body the minute he was shot.
Beefy's youngest daughter, Kalis, was 21 years old when he was shot.
It was just total chaos. Like, where is he? He's been shot. They still have him. What's happening? And then I remember just kind of arguing, like, well, what do you mean? You got to get him out of the house. You got to get him out of there. He's been shot. You got to get him, he's got to go to the hospital, and it was like, no, they're holding him. I just was in this, like, get him out. And people are trying to calm you down, It felt like the day never ended. And it was just like no news.
We were sitting waiting around there because we were never notified fully as a family until they identified and took his body out.
It wasn't until the family, while watching live TV coverage, watched deputies putting Beefy's covered body on the hood of a squad car and driving him away from the house. It wasn't until then that they truly knew Beefy was dead.
It is one of the darkest days in Itasca County's history. The body of Deputy Robert Lawson is wheeled out on a stretcher, the victim of a single gunshot to the head. Lawson was killed execution style at this home in Pengilly. The veteran deputy came to the home to pick up a child, but it was a setup. As he walked in a back door, Audie Fox, a career criminal who'd had run-ins with Lawson before, was waiting for him.
After murdering Beefy, the man took his 2 young children hostage for 18 hours before he was eventually taken into custody. The details of this standoff, along with the radio traffic and phone calls between the killer and dispatch and the hostage negotiators, are all on the original episode, The Robert Lawson Story. The Robert Beefy Lawson story is one of the most downloaded episodes, and honestly, it's one of those stories and experiences that I truly will never forget. It was one of the first stories I had the opportunity to research and write with help of Beefy's oldest son, Bobby, and several of Beefy's fellow officers. Bobby and I became friends throughout the process. He trusted me enough to open up and share with me the most traumatic time in his family's life. We shared laughs and we shared tears. Beefy's fellow officers, we spent hours visiting and talking about Beefy, about his family, about his life, about being a cop back then, and ultimately about Beefy's murder. We talked about how his murder impacted them, and we too shared laughs and tears together. Bobby was Beefy's oldest son and became the family spokesperson during the months that would follow during the trial.
I was 29 years old, and I'm the oldest of 7 siblings, and there were 6 others. There were 7 of us, my younger brother, Todd, being 10 years younger. And I kind of think as an oldest boy, the instincts and all my upbringing, I didn't look any other direction. I just faced what we were dealing with, this traumatic, tragic situation. And as a big brother always does, you kind of look out for your family, you look out for your siblings, your mother, your everybody, you know, your family, you're proud of and you're protective. So I kind of moved forward, and I don't remember even giving it any thought.
The 27-year-old suspect, whose name I refuse to repeat in this episode, was convicted of killing Beefy and was sentenced to 30 years to life with the possibility of parole. Beefy's badge, number 703, was officially retired. So many aspects of this story impacted me, especially after the original episode was released. Shortly after the episode went online, I received an email from a young man from Itasca County who identified himself as Beefy's grandson. In the email, he explained he was serving as a corrections officer for the Itasca County Sheriff's Office, where his grandfather Beefy served. He said he wanted to thank me for the podcast, that it was very informative and full of great information about his grandfather and his story, noting there was a lot of information many of his family weren't familiar with and indicating that their family just didn't talk about it, that some of their family had stopped communicating with each other after it happened. He closed the email by explaining Beefy's murder was a terrible tragedy for their family, and it changed all of them. But it was a good feeling to know a lot of people will now never forget his grandfather. To this day, this is one of the most impactful responses I've ever received after sharing a fallen hero's story. A response that made me realize these survivor families and these officers who were left behind, they were benefiting from the process of putting the story together, benefiting from remembering, benefiting from sharing their story, their feelings. The experience was helping them through wherever they were at the time in their grief journey. The experience was therapeutic, benefits far beyond what I had ever hoped for with this project. After Beefy was gone and his killer sent to prison, the family decided to make something positive out of something so tragic. They wanted to do something to help their community.
When these times came before us, you have choices, and the choice was to, go with feeling sorry for ourselves or the whole situation, or to move forward in a positive way. And we moved forward in a positive way, and it was like the community support was immense, and we did establish, people were just getting money toward the family, and they wanted to start a memorial for my dad. And by golly, we did that, and we called it the Beefy Lawson Memorial. So again, through all of this, we're finding what good comes from it. And we were able to give with, I think it was well over 20 years, we had what was a hockey game that raised money for youth recreation project. And that was something that my dad had actually started before his death. Over in Hibbing, there was a group of policemen over there, and the group over here in Itasca County, they used to play a game or two every winter, and whatever money went, they would give it to the kids in their community. This was just really slid right into what worked for the Beefy Lawson Memorial. So we ended up giving over $250,000 in Itasca County, and it was toward the youth recreation project.
Fast forward 5 years to 2025. I was contacted by Itasca County Sheriff Joe Dasovich, who told me after a lot of discussion with the family, with Bobby, and Bobby's youngest brother Todd, who is also a retired deputy from Itasca County Sheriff's Office, that he was going to unretire Beefy's badge.
DJ was working in the jail, and he was always a pleasant jailer, kept his head down, did his job, just a solid employee, willing to pick up shifts. And I knew DJ desired to follow in his grandpa's footsteps, but I could tell he needed that push. So I approached him and I said, "Hey, DJ, I think you should grind it out and finish your cop degree. We have enough openings on the road. If you buckle down, you could be one of our deputies." And his brother-in-law is one of my lieutenants. So we kind of just pushed him through. He had to work a lot of overtime on his days off of school and put it towards comp, but he made it through working full-time and going to school full-time with 4 kids. And I knew that DJ and Todd were really close. They deer hunted together, and when Todd spoke about family, he always spoke about DJ. And me and Todd got to be friends through my time with Coleraine PD and even Nashwauk PD. So I knew how Todd felt about his dad, about law enforcement, and about just tradition in general. We never really spoke of this possibility because it wasn't even on my radar. But as DJ started kind of clipping through school and I saw that he was going to be successful, Bobby always came to our law enforcement Memorial Day event that we would put on at the sheriff's office. And I just mentioned it to him one day and he said, let me get back to you.
It was Gail's son, DJ, who was working as a corrections deputy for Sheriff Dasovich.
Well, DJ, I believe it was at the end of his college and he would be graduating. He called me and he said, "Mom, Joe Dasovich wants to give me Grandpa Beefy's pen and bat and do an unretired." I was like, "What? Really?" He goes, "Yeah, Ma." He goes, "This is really a big deal." I said, "Yeah, this is a big deal, Deej." And I said to him, I said, "You know what, Deej? What an honor." I said, "And your grandpa," which DJ called Papa at 2, would be so proud.
The sheriff asked me to be part of the presentation, so on December 17th, at a local community center, I attended the program with a building full of family, full of friends, full of law enforcement and local citizens, all there to remember Beefy and officially unretire his badge so Beefy's grandson could carry on this family's legacy.
Today we gather to bring badge 703 out of retirement and to place it where it belongs, back in service to this family and this county. By presenting Deputy Robert Beefy Lawson's grandson, Donald Roberts, with his badge. Deputy Lawson served the people of Itasca County for 11 years. He gave his full measure in the line of duty on October 29th, 1981, protecting the vulnerable, doing what was right, and remembering us all of what serve and protect truly means. A badge is metal, yes, but it's also a promise. It stands for courage shown on ordinary days and for extraordinary sacrifice when those days turn hard. As we present this badge to DJ, we are not assigning a duty. We are recognizing a lineage of service and a family's steadfast love. To the Lawson family, thank you for sharing Beefy with us and for allowing him to be part of the fabric of Itasca County. It is with great pride that we unretire Badge 703 and present it to Deputy Donald D.J. Roberts, grandson of Deputy Lawson, who has answered the same calling to service. And in doing so, he carries forward not only a badge, but the values it represents: honor, courage, integrity, and service above self.
Our friends at WDIO ABC News out of Duluth were there too.
Today we gather to bring Badge 703 out of retirement and to place it where it belongs, back in service to this family and this county.
Itasca County's newest deputy carries quite a legacy with him, and DJ Roberts is more than ready to honor his grandfather. The ultimate sacrifice of Robert Beefy Lawson in the line of duty shocked Itasca County back in 1981. Now, 44 years later, another moment to heal.
Honor guard, attention!
A unique pinning ceremony in front of a pretty full Cohasset Community Center.
Right face.
A meaningful moment born out of a terrible time.
Deputy Lawson was killed on the line of duty.
He wasn't even supposed to be working that day, October 29th, 1981, but stepped up anyways.
Beefy was asked to meet a young mother who was going into her ex-husband's parents' place to retrieve her kids.
When he arrived to the home in Swan Lake, the kid's father, Audie Fox, ambushed Lawson and shot him in the head. That led to an 18-hour standoff.
He gave his life protecting others, leaving behind his wife and 7 children.
2 of the Lawsons went on to work in law enforcement, including Todd.
And this day today brings back a lot to me. I was with my dad right before he got killed that morning.
And now a grandson, Donald D.J. Roberts, just started patrolling for Itasca County.
It's been great so far.
Roberts had worked in the jail but wanted to try this role. Itasca County decided to unretire his grandfather's badge and give it to him. He told us he never gets sick of hearing the stories about Beefy because it's helped shape his career today.
Yeah, you hear the legacy, he had started. I hope to continue it with how he dealt with people, how he viewed people. That's key to this field.
Now there's another Deputy Lawson in Itasca County.
Accepting Badge 703 is accepting the weight of a memory and the warmth of a community.
And he plans on carrying with the same commitment.
The badge is more than a symbol of authority. It represents trust, responsibility, and service.
As his grandpa.
Beefy is looking down and he's proud today.
Now, there were plenty of lighthearted moments today, too, because Beefy was a fun guy. Several other of Beefy's family continue to serve in law enforcement as well.
Beefy's grandson, Itasca County Sheriff's Office's new patrol deputy, Donald Roberts, or DJ for short. He actually was the grandson that reached out to me 5 years earlier and emailed me about his grandfather's story on the podcast. His grandfather, Beefy Lawson.
It was an eye-opener, because a lot of that information, I didn't really know. And then to hear a lot of that live radio feed and stuff, you could hear the emotion and all that. I mean, it was definitely an eye-opener and created a better understanding of what my aunts and uncles and mom experienced on that day. And, just have a better understanding with all the information organized, was good because you'd get bits and pieces, he was going to help, a lady retrieve her children. He knew the father of the children was not a good man. That's why he's involved in it in the first place. And, it makes you, I don't know, for me anyways, it makes me want to have a fight, it wants me to have something in it, I mean, for me, it sort of pushed me harder to move into this field, too.
To DJ, it means the world to him to have the honor of being issued his grandfather's badge number.
It's a huge responsibility to receive his badge number, but I mean, I know he'd be proud, of this and, given a chance to carry on his name and legacy in law enforcement is, of course, a great honor for me and for the family. I mean, it shows that, in his death, his legacy still continues, through family. And, law enforcement for me, it's a family of, it's tradition. It isn't just a career, the way my grandpa performed his duty, I hope to perform in the same way he did. It's just a huge, huge thing for the whole family. And I just hope I do it proud.
It's a great way to honor my dad's legacy. And it honors his life, honors his sacrifice, and that way things are not forgotten. And it keeps us to be pro-law enforcement, because my dad was, even though there were those that I'm sure were on the wrong side of the fence, didn't care for him, but most people that he dealt with on the job or the families that he helped out had nothing but the utmost respect for him. And I think adding to it with DJ, he's really an inspiration. The more I talk to him, the ideas, he reminds me of my dad. He talks kind of the same way. And I don't know if if these characteristics come from a genetic side or if it's just was instilled in him. I don't know, but he realizes the power of the badge, and he appreciates the fact that he's had the honor of this repinning and being able to carry that 703 number.
This is beyond for me. It feels like that circle, the healing circle coming. It's healing for all of us, that this is carrying on, that his life wasn't in vain. And he did do it for others. And now it's who we are as humans on this plane, that we are all of that nature of giving, of helping. Yeah, I just feel like that was instilled in us, and I feel like it's going to continue on, and what a gift that is to see that part of who he was continue to shine on.
In July of 2025, Representative Pete Stauber from Minnesota honored DJ in front of the House of Representatives at the Capitol in St. Paul. Representative Stauber wrote, "Inspired by his grandfather's example, DJ Roberts has pursued a path of service with remarkable courage. Despite a dyslexia diagnosis, DJ transitioned from a 20-year career in construction to become a corrections officer at the Itasca County Sheriff's Office in 2018. In 2023, DJ bravely returned to school in his 40s with a wife and 4 children at home to pursue his dream of becoming a road deputy, overcoming mental, emotional, and physical challenges while balancing fatherhood to 4 children and his duties as a husband. Today, we celebrate DJ, known to his late grandfather as Buddy Guy, for being honored with Beefy Lawson's badge number as a powerful symbol of his commitment to public safety and a full circle moment for the Lawson and Roberts family. With resilience, integrity, quiet heroism, and strong faith in God, DJ honors his grandfather's memory, inspiring our community by continuing a legacy of service and sacrifice. DJ was honored with his grandfather's badge on December 17th, 2025. Exactly 5 years to the date Beefy's original story was released on December 17th, 2020 here on the podcast. I didn't realize this until the day of the event. Coincidence? Well, we'll let you be the judge of that. DJ will wear his grandfather's badge number throughout his career with the Itasca County Sheriff's Office. When DJ retires, Beefy's badge number will also be retired once again, until another descendant of this fallen hero chooses to follow in his footsteps and serve in this amazing community. The Robert Beefy Lawson story was originally released in 2020 and tells Beefy's entire story in a way only possible with the help of his son Bobby and many of the officers and friends he served with. Along with news clips, radio and television recordings, hostage negotiation recordings, and more, this story serves as a chilling reminder of the risks and sacrifices our law enforcement officers take on every day they walk out of their door to serve, along with the sacrifices their families left behind risk if their hero doesn't get to come home after their shift. If you haven't listened to the original story yet, we encourage you to click the link in the story notes to hear the full story of Robert Beefy Lawson. We've also added many more photos, some family photos and then photos of the repinning event to his memorial page as well. If you're interested in watching the entire badge pinning presentation, there is a video and a link in the show notes. They'll get you to the full video of the event, which is provided by our friends at Itasca Community Television. DJ Roberts is the third generation of men in the Lawson family to proudly serve the Itasca County Sheriff's Office in this community. And I would venture to guess, knowing the amazing character of this family, he won't be the last Lawson to serve his or her community.
He's walking eastbound. Officer down. I repeat, officer down.
Thank you for listening to this special edition of the Officer Down Memorial Podcast.